Hello. Today I'm going to record this video about rent increases in Quebec in 2023 because too many property owners that I know, too many of my clients are still doing this just kind of on a feeling. So they'll say, okay, well, I heard on the news today that the increase this year is supposed to be 2.8%. So let me just pull out my trusty cell phone, calculate 2.8% on the rent or some kind of thing like, oh, I want to increase this guy by $10 or I want to increase this guy by $20. And here is why you should not do this. If you own rental property, you need to go onto the site of the TAL, which was once called Régie du Logement. You're going to type into your Google search bar Calcul 2023 TAL. Then you're going to go and click here. Okay. You're going to then end up with this beautiful spreadsheet that every property owner in Quebec should be using every single year to figure out what their rent increases are. Okay. Unfortunately, this is only in French, but it's relatively easy to figure out what you want to do. Okay. So let's say I'm going to start here. I'll just put any name into Fig Street. It's freezing cold outside today, so I want to do something that makes me think of warmness. Okay. And now we're talking about the whole building here. Okay. So let's just for sake of argument, say that this is a triplex and that each apartment is worth $1,000. So we have the monthly rents. So let's say $3,000 per month. We have no commercial properties. We have no vacant units. And we, as the owner, are not occupying any units. Okay. Now we have our annual revenue. Now, very, very, very important here. So the thing is that this calculation of the rent increases for the TAL, there are certain figures of which only a small percentage, like work that you've done on the building, management fees, things like that, only a small part is attributed to the tenants. But the certain fees are passed on one-to-one. So if your taxes go up, if your insurance goes up, those things are passed on one-to-one to the tenants. So if you fill out only one thing on this paper, you need to fill out the taxes and you need to fill out the insurance. Okay. So let's just assume, for argument's sake, that in 2023, my tax bill is $3,000. Last year, it was $2,500. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for the school tax. So last year, this year it's 500. Last year, 350. Insurance, very, very important. Another thing here, the insurance fees are pretty much going up like, 20, 30% a year. Why would you not pass that on to your tenants? So let's just do something similar here. Your insurance on December 31st was this. Last year it was that. Let's assume that you're not paying electricity, gas. Look at this here, guys. 26.2%. If you are heating your units with gas or with oil, okay, if you're providing heating for your tenants, you 100% need to fill this out. For the case of this argument, I'm going to assume, let me assume that I was heating one of my units with gas and that my gas bill was $1,200. Let's say it wasn't that expensive, okay? Look at the size of this adjustment. This is crazy. So that's going to go this is going to be completely passed on to your tenants. Okay. Let's say I spent $3,000 on maintenance. I didn't spend any services. This amount is taken by default. So this amount of money here. Okay. Look at the size of this adjustment here. I'm going to not put any work. All right. I'm going to not put any work, neither in the unit, neither in the building. And then I'm going to say that I have a $1,000 rent. Look at this. Okay, look at this. Here you have, hang on a second. It's, for some reason, it's not finishing the calculation, but it looks like there's going to be a very, very big, I'm going to put all the zeros in here and hopefully it's going to pick it up. Exactly. Look at the size of this increase. Okay. In the media, they're busy saying you have a 2% increase. A 2% increase on $1,000 is like, it's not even, it's $20. But if you actually do the exercise of calculating this out with like not crazy raises, look at the size of this increase. It's a $60 increase on $1,000 rents. So if you need any other argument to go through this exercise with your tenants, absolutely. Calcul 2023 TAL absolutely go on this, absolutely fill it out and really take the time because those dollars are going to be going in your pocket. And you know that for every $10 that you increase, that's just not $10 a month. That's $10 times 12 times whatever multiple the building is selling at. So please don't leave this money on the table and definitely back yourself up. Now, the other very important thing that I just want to say a word about before logging off the video is the strategy of this, because the tenants are watching the same media outlets as you are, which means that they also think that they're going to be getting a 2% increase this year. And so you have to, this year, it's going to be a hard sell because with inflation, everything is going up. And, the sort of vibe between property owners and tenants is not necessarily the best. So, in order to get your tenants to accept these increases, I have a specific strategy that I use that I think you might want to adopt. So, 100% use the calcul, use the tool of the calcul, and then you want to print out your results for every unit. And then when you take your increase letter, don't send it, by email, don't send it with registered mail. I would say make an appointment with your tenants to go door to door and you explain to them. You say, look, this is the increase. I calculated it with all my bills. You can even, if you want, bring a folder with the bills along with you so that they can check that everything that you put in there is correct. You could even, go the extra mile and bring an iPad or a laptop along and let them go through the exercise, because once you have that data for a building, it doesn't take like really 5 minutes to do the calculation, and they will see themselves. And I found that when I go door to door like that and really take the time to explain to people that, like, look, this is not necessarily what you've been hearing in the media, like it's that there's inflation on all sorts of things, and the expenses that are passed on 100% to the tenants. So insurance, taxes, gas, which 25% of the increase is passed on to the tenants. Those are the big ticket items that you're going to be feeling in your rent increase. So the truth is it's not 2%. It's whatever comes out of the calculation of the regie sheet, because if we have to go to court, this is what the judge is going to use to calculate the increase anyway. So what I'm doing is I'm just saving us both time by doing this. I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. This is actually what's going on. And if you even want to go the extra mile, in the show notes of this video, I'm going to drop a Facebook video that actually does a pretty good job in French of explaining what's going on. It's released by one of the big Quebec media outlets, so it doesn't, it's actually another data point external to you that explains this process to people in a way that they can understand, and that's going to give you a higher rate of acceptance and hopefully a lower rate of having to go to court to get your increases through. Just one more point about how you have to procedurally do this. So the first thing is you need to deliver your increase letters, and then the tenant has to sign the fact that they got them, and they have 30 days to reply. If they do not reply, they're reputed to have accepted the increase. If they refuse, you have 30 days from the time of their refusal to open a file of, it's called fixation at the régie, to basically go through this calculation process with a judge. You then need to open that file online. You can do it on the TAL site, and then you need to deliver the notice that that file has been opened to your tenants, and then you just wait for your summons with your bills and go through this exercise that I just did with you online with the judge. It's really not something to be afraid of, and unfortunately, I think there's going to be the reality is that there's going to be a lot of those files open this year. And if you want to minimize your time with court and the pain of going through court fees and notifying your tenants, I really encourage you use the increased paper and take the time to go door to door to explain to your tenants why they're receiving the big increase that they are. If we were on the receiving end of that, probably we would also be happy and for the respect that's shown for us when somebody who takes the time to come and talk to us. So I hope that this video has been useful for you to help you understand just how you need to proceed with the rent increases, and to do it in as professional a way possible to make sure you're not leaving money on the table. Thank you.